you're new here, welcome. This video is very near and dear to me because it is about how I healed my feminine energy, still learning to heal my feminine energy, and how I'm learning to heal my inner child, and how those two have helped me heal overall together. And I have a few points written down here, and if I look down, this is why I'm looking down. So the first thing I want to mention, the first thing that has helped me heal, and this may come as a shocking one, but it also may resonate because this may have been something that you felt that you needed to do but didn't give yourself the permission to do. And that is to isolate yourself from the people that are constantly triggering you. Isolating yourself, whether it's from family, friends, most of the time is going to be family because that is who we have grown up with. Those are the people that have triggered us the most throughout our life. They're the ones that have caused most of our wounds. And not to say that they're to blame or that they are the ones responsible, because that is in the past. This is something that you have to take responsibility for now and heal. But at the same time, it's also responsible to isolate yourself from them until you are in a better place to heal and to focus on yourself. Because a lot of the time what can happen is that it's almost like having a scab wound that you continue to pick at, and it just never gets to heal. And so what you want to do is isolate yourself so you're not constantly just picking at the scab and wondering why it's just not healing. Because when you surround yourself or spend more time with people who are causing you to be in a triggered state, it doesn't allow you the space to heal. It doesn't allow a space for that scar to heal. And so I would say this is one of the most important things that I have done and allowed myself to do. And I say allow because it's not something that is easy to do. And a lot of the time we can feel guilty for doing that, for isolating ourselves, and we feel guilty for not spending time with those people, and we feel that we're kind of shunning them aside. But at the same time, you have to do what is best for you in that moment, and it's not good to be isolated for too long. It's not good to stay in that state for too long because you don't want to just be isolated forever where you just don't know how to interact with people. And it's like if anybody triggers you, then you're not able to navigate that, because you could become a monk and just live in the mountain in the middle of nowhere and nobody triggers you. That's not a challenge. That's just kind of a boring life. And I'm not saying that people triggering you makes life exciting, but when it's okay, it's good to take that time in the beginning to heal and to stay away from people who are constantly putting you down or not allowing you to heal. But at the same time, you have to integrate what you're learning into society and with the people that you are interacting with in your daily life to be able to tell whether that's actually working or not. Because if you just hide forever, then you have no idea whether that actually worked or not. Nobody's going to trigger you when you're alone. And that doesn't mean you necessarily healed what you're working on. It could just be that nobody's triggering you. But when you take the time to heal and you then integrate back into society, you're able to act and see things differently and change the way you respond to them. But if you are just isolating yourself forever, you haven't really learned anything. You don't even know if what you've learned has worked. And then if you're constantly being around those people, you're just constantly triggered and you don't have the space to heal, if that makes sense. And the other thing that I have on here is changing what I say to myself in my head. You have to be able to change what you say to yourself in your head. And when I first started doing this, oh my god, I realized that I was so negative and critical towards myself and towards the people around me. It was so shocking and a little bit I would say worrisome. Like I would never say these things to a really good friend, but I was saying them to myself in my head. And I am still working on this to this day. I'm still working on this to this day because I still catch myself saying negative things to myself. And I'll still catch myself saying negative things about other people in my head, but that is only a reflection of how I view myself. And I'm still working on this because this is a lifetime of it's a lifetime of thinking that I have to change, and I've been working on changing. So I feel that a lot of people make the mistake, and I feel like I did this in the beginning, of thinking I'll read this book and I'll be healed. I'll do this one thing and this one tip and I will be healed. But that is not how it works. Inner work happens in layers, and as you move up and as you heal, you uncover more things to heal. And that's why I say this is an ongoing process for me. It is not something that I just do one time or read one book or say this one affirmation to myself and I'm healed. That's not how it works. So I'm constantly changing how I speak to myself and how I view the world through my inner work. And one way I honestly love to do this is to put up reminders around me, whether it's on a mirror. I have stickers right now that I'm looking at on my mirror. And one of them is progress over perfection. And this is something that I struggled with before so much, is that I would just wait for things to be all figured out. I would wait for things to be perfect, but that doesn't even exist. So it kind of just led to me being stuck in one place instead of taking action. It was almost an excuse to stay stuck so I don't have to face my fears and take action on what I wanted to do. And so that is one of the reminders I have on my mirror. And another thing I love to do, I don't know why I didn't think of this before, like way early on, because I just feel like it's so much fun. It's so simple, is I use an Expo marker that's like a dry erase marker, and I write on my bathroom mirror. And whenever I'm applying lotion or I'm just brushing my teeth, I'm doing something in the bathroom, I say that affirmation out loud, and it's usually something related to my body because I'm in the bathroom. And I feel like most of us tend to just avoid eye contact with our bodies and with ourselves in the mirror. And almost not even if you, that's even if you, so you avoid eye contact. And if you look at your body, most of the time, if you start to notice, it just like almost the immediate response is always judgment. Like you get a glimpse of one thing and you're like, oh wow, look at that, there's like a little thing coming out here, and there's like this thing that's wrong there. And so I have that as a reminder to myself, so that I literally, instead of just focusing on those kinds of things that my mind just comes up with right away, this is my way of training myself to show up and to speak about my body in a positive way, because my body is freaking amazing. My body is constantly going through changes and constantly doing involuntary actions that I don't even have to think about to take care of me. My body is amazing. It's just, it's mind-boggling to me that most of us speak to it in a negative way when we've just been conditioned to speak to it in that way. But it's just so, it's just beyond anything that we can even think to create. So I feel like it's just, I'm gonna move on from that point because I feel like I'm just going in circles here, but you get my point. And so I just love putting lotion on while reading the affirmations on my mirror. And that helps, pretty much the repetition helps me set that into my mind. And another thing that I love to do that has helped me a lot, it has helped me step more into my feminine energy, and heal my inner child and heal my perfection, like my need for perfection, is writing things down instead of just keeping everything up in my head. And I say this helped me heal my feminine energy because it has literally, it has just changed my life, because I used to just feel so anxious with all the things that I have in my head, and I just wasn't able to act on what was in my head because I just felt overwhelmed. It just felt like an overwhelming sense of hurry, unease, like fully in my masculine energy, because I was just constantly in my head, because when I didn't write things down, I didn't create a structure for a place for my thoughts to be other than my head. And so I had to constantly continue thinking about what was in my head so I don't forget what I need to do. But then the ironic part is, the more I kept those things in my head instead of writing them down, the more I stayed up in my head and the more I stayed stuck, not taking action, which is the opposite of masculine energy. So it's like almost like I was sabotaging myself. And maybe that was wounded feminine energy from me, that pretty much I would just keep thinking about things, and it's our fears that keep us in that space of not thinking of solutions. Because when we don't think of that kind of, that's such a simple solution, to write things down instead of keep them in your head. And I feel like our fears keep us stuck in a space where we don't take action by doing small things like that we don't notice, because we're scared of what comes next. What happens after you take the action? You have to actually do something about the things that you want. You have to actually go after your dreams and do the one action after the next that leads up to your dream life. It doesn't just happen by itself, and sometimes that can be scary because it's new and it's not something that we're used to. So that's definitely one of the things that has helped me step more into my feminine energy, because it has allowed me to just be more and show up and be in my body instead of just always being in my head. And another thing I have here is journaling. This is a part of writing things down a little bit, because journaling has literally changed my life. I know I've been saying that about almost each one of these, but journaling has truly changed my life, because sometimes I will literally be having a mental breakdown or maybe an emotional breakdown where I will just think life is over and there is no way out of a certain situation, and I just can't seem to figure out a solution, or there's just so much built up like negative energy in my body. And then as soon as I start journaling, answers come to me. Answers flow in and they provide me with everything that I needed. Because have you ever heard someone say that all the answers that you need are within yourself? Most people will literally go look for a YouTube video. No shade, I do that all the time. We'll go look for a YouTube video, we'll go look up tips and tricks, we'll look up so many different ways to solve a problem over sitting with themselves and getting an answer from themselves, because they do not trust the answers that come from within. They do not trust their own instincts and their own intuition to give them answers, because maybe they've taken action so many different times against their intuition. And so your body doesn't trust you. Your body doesn't trust you anymore because you're constantly going against your intuition. So what you need to do in this case is start following your intuition more. Start following the things that you hear, not the anxious thoughts, but the feelings that you get from your gut that are almost like a whisper, that are showing you the next direction. It will almost feel like it's something that's exciting but scary. It will never feel, I feel like it will never feel like it's overwhelming or like something that you don't want to do. It will feel like a yes, but it could still have a, sorry, I just got a text. it will still feel like it will just feel like a hell yes in your body, even if it scares you. Even if it scares you. And if you continuously say no to those things that your soul is asking for, that your intuition is sending you, then you start to distrust yourself and go outside of yourself for answers. And I feel like journaling brings you back to that part of yourself, to learn more about yourself, and to just to be, and to connect with your feminine energy, connect with your desires, which comes from your heart, which comes from your body. And so when you're able to connect with that from within yourself, you're able to unlock something new in your path, unlock a different direction that you want to go in, unlock a different portal almost that you want to step into, unlock a different identity that you want to step into. And so journaling can also be used as a way to release negative energy. Have you ever noticed that when you journal, you almost feel relieved afterwards? This is because as you're journaling, you're releasing all the negative energy, because when you're taking action and you're just writing things down, that releases energy from your body. It's a way to release energy. It's like screaming into a pillow, I wouldn't say painting. I mean, although that could be a way to release emotions. But yeah, it's almost like any other activity that you would do to release different emotions from your body, like dancing. That this journaling can be one of those. And okay, the last one I have, and I've literally had to work so hard on this one because I have felt so stuck in not doing this before. But the last one I have is to take action without worrying about the how. Take action when you hear, remember how I just talked about your intuition and listening to those whispers that come to you. They could be from God, they could be from your intuition. They will literally change your life, and a lot of the time they do not make sense, and that's why people don't take action on them. Sometimes they don't make sense, sometimes they feel scary, sometimes you will not have a clear picture of where to go next. You will know one step but not the rest. And people get stuck on hearing the whisper, hearing the idea, and asking, okay, well, let me figure it out with my mind. What do I do after this? But you cannot figure it out with your mind because you don't know what kind of solutions or kind of paths God's going to open for you. You don't know what God is leading you towards, and maybe He's also helping you not be overwhelmed by giving it to you one step at a time. So when you step in, because you're trying to control everything, which is a very masculine energy thing to do, you're trying to control everything instead of surrender, you're pretty much taking over the blessings that God could give you, and you're pretty much stepping more into your masculine energy. But when you let go of that, you step more into your feminine energy, and you just take aligned action one step at a time, even if you don't have all the answers figured out. Because when you think about everything in your head and you get stuck on the how, you're going to constantly stay stuck in your head. You're going to keep thinking, well, how can I do this? Oh my gosh, well, this doesn't make sense at all. There is no way to do this right now. And you're just going to stay stuck in figuring out how, when how doesn't even exist yet. You don't even know if there is a way to do this yet, but God does. God can create a way, and He's telling you to go towards a specific thing for a reason. It is not just random. And so this is one thing that for sure I've been working on so much this year, and I've literally quit my job because of this one thing. I did not know the answer. I almost still don't know the answer. But I know the reason that I'm being led to do this. And even though I don't have all the answers afterwards, I'm in a place where I can just say, okay, God, I trust you. I have no idea what you have planned for me, but I trust you, and I'm going to surrender to everything that you align for me, and I'm going to just take action whenever I hear those divine whispers from you to move forward. And that is me stepping more into my, well, not even stepping, because I feel like stepping into something is more masculine, but leaning back and just allowing my feminine energy to pretty much run the show, instead of letting my masculine energy be the one that is in control and doesn't allow for space for new things to come in and have everything super structured and super planned out. But yeah, those are all the different points. I hope that you guys found something helpful in there, something that resonated with you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.